Okay, we've got a 2009 Ford Focus. We had a airbag code B2293. Um, Looking it up, it suggested that we needed to replace the clock spring. So I looked up the procedures to do it. There's no real good videos out there. I thought I'd go ahead and record this, even though I've already gotten into it quite a bit. The first thing you got to do is is deactivate um, or take out the fuse that's for the airbag. And to do that, you got to take um, this panel off here. All it does is you grab a hold of it and you pull down, and then there's some hinges here that you can just pop it off and remove it completely. What you're trying to do is get to the fuses, which are back here. Um, there's a cover on there. I've taken the cover off, but the fuse that you want to take off is the one that's missing, the red one. If I can focus. The red one, the 10 amp that's missing there above the big, whatever that thing is. And you got to take that one out, and then you've got to go and disconnect your negative on your battery, which I did. The next thing that you have to do is start removing your airbag, which I've got all that done already. But in the airbag, there's some pieces, or I should say pieces. There's some clips in there, and they tell you to get a mirror and look back this way at them. There's one about here on the steering wheel, here, and then on the bottom, and you got to be able to rotate the steering wheel to see them from the back. But what they are is there's like a little bar in there that you just need to twist it with a big flat blade screwdriver, and it'll pop it loose. They're held in with some springs and clips, and once you pop that, it'll pop out a little bit. So I did that on all three of them, and then so the airbag came out. I had to disconnect these two things for this clock spring, and I had to remove a real short wire that was connected. So I disconnected that and these two, and then the steering wheel was ready to pull off. Before I pulled it off, I did mark it. There's actually a mark right there that's built in. See that? And that mark I lined up on the steering wheel itself, and so that when I put it back on, I'm putting it on the same spot. So took the steering wheel. It took some yanking on back and forth, but it did eventually come off. You have to get a little rough with it, but it'll pop right off. The next thing that you do is you have to take off this shroud right here, and all it is it's held in with the plastic clips and stuff. So I unhooked these right here, and then when I pull it up, you just have to kind of yank up, and then these will release on both sides. There's three here and three over here, so you just have to release those. It takes a little effort. You think you're going to break it, but it doesn't. You just pull up on it. Next thing you do is you have to take three screws out of here, which is the point where I'm at here. These are 5.5 millimeter. You got to take those off, and that'll drop this down. I'll show more when I get into it. Okay, I removed the three screws, and then there's a lever to adjust the steering wheel. You've got to pull that down, and then get there's the hole here for the ignition. You have to get that over that, and then you can pull it down like this, and then you can just leave it there for the next stage, which is to replace the clock spring. Okay, folks, I finally got this off here. It took me a minute to figure out how to release it. I thought that this part here was part of the connector, and it's not. It's part of the clock spring. Here's the connector. There's a tab right here. You just have to reach in there with your fingernail or a little screwdriver and push it in, like towards the wires, and that'll release this tab. And so I did that, and it came out. Okay, we had ordered a genuine Ford part. Here's the some of the information on the box that we got. Here's the actual part. It comes with this tab in here, I guess, to make sure that the clock spring doesn't get damaged or something. Not sure why, but anyway, that's the new part. So we're going to see if this fixes the code. And I'm just going to put it back in with the two screws. There was two T20s, I believe, here and here. I removed those and of course disconnected that, and it came right out. So this is going in the same way. Okay, I've got that installed now. I tightened these by hand, just nice and snug on there. I don't know if there's probably a torque, but I think they're pretty good in there. The next thing, I'm going to leave this thing in for now. I think I'll wait until the last moment to put that back on. I'm going to go in reverse. I'm just going to put this back on like that, or hook it back up, and then look to see if I got room to leave that in if I put the top shroud on. If not, I'll take it out and put the top shroud on. But that's my plan. Okay, so I got the bottom shroud screwed back in. I'm currently putting in the top shroud now. Like I said, there's these two clips here, and then there's three on each side that I think you just have to push it down. See if I can do this one-handed. Oh, I need two hands. Oh, my mistake. I actually had it in. I thought it went down a little further, but it's fine. Okay, now I believe I'm ready to yank this out and put the steering wheel on. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, I believe I know why they had that clip in there. I think it was so that when you go to put the steering wheel on, that it hasn't been, rotated, completely around one way or the other. So anyway, it keeps it in place while you're putting things together and keeps it lined up to where it's supposed to be when you install it. I just put it on so you can see my black mark right here. Lines up with that little etch mark there. All I did was line that back up to make sure the steering wheel is straight. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bolt back in here and tighten that up. Put this back in place here, and then I should be ready to hook the airbag and the whatever this line is for. Should be able to hook those back up. That's what I'm going to do next. Okay, I went and grabbed the airbag. They want you to be real careful with these because these are explosive devices. Anytime you can, make sure they're pointed away from you. The front part's pointed away from you as much as you can. But you can see here that here's the spring-loaded push-in pieces that will go into those holes right there. But there's the connectors for the front, and they are color-coded. You can see one's black, one's gray, which is the same thing we have here to make sure you get them on there hooked right. And then right over here, there's that small connector I was talking about, which is that one right there. So that's what I'm going to hook up and push the steering wheel in, or the airbag in. Okay, I installed that. It's 15/16 is what I used. I think a a 24, I think it was a 24 might work as well. But the 15/16 seemed to be a tight fit to be able to torque that down. And I didn't have a torque spec. I couldn't find one, so I just got it, pretty snug on there. I think it's fine. I connected this back in, and I did want to point out that when we put the airbag on, if you look in there, this is a spring-loaded. Let me see if I can move that. This is the thing that you have to release to get the airbags off. So you reach from the behind, rotating the steering wheel so you can reach it, to release them with a good-sized flat blade. But there's 3 spots that you have to release it. That's the only thing that's actually holding the airbag in. It's not screwed in. Anyway, so now I'm going to hook these up to the airbag, and I'm going to basically just push it into place, and it should be done with that part. Okay, so it was really simple. I popped those 2 connectors in, that other little one, and then just pushed it on, and it went right in. So good to go. Now I've got to put that fuse back in underneath here. There is a procedure. I'm gonna have to go look at it for putting this back in. It's specific for these airbags, so I'm gonna go read it, and then I'll tell you what I'm doing. Okay, I read up on this. It's called a repower procedure, and what they want you to do is to turn the ignition on with the battery, the negative battery still disconnected. Turn the ignition on, reinstall the fuse. Then with the ignition still on, they want you to reconnect the ground to your battery, and then after you've done that, they want you to come in and turn it off for at least 10 seconds. And so I'm going to look to see, hopefully that's how it works. Maybe it's a safety thing. I'm not sure why they're doing that, but that's what the directions say to do. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, folks, I've already tried this out. It worked. I'll go ahead and show you that the airbag light does go out. See, where it wasn't before. That was the code I was getting, and replacing the clock spring in here fixed it. So just remember that that repower procedure that I talked about. I did it that way, and it seems to have worked okay. Anyway, that's it. It's all done. I just got to put the panels back on, and it's good to go. Thanks.